and welcome back to my channel. So today this lecture I will see a introduction to SQL. So this is the agenda for today's we'll see introductions of structured query language, what is Oracle database, and what are the different editions or versions we have. Then we'll see what are the data types we are using in Oracle and SQL, what we can do with the SQL, and later we'll see what are the different commands we are using into SQL. Introductions of structured query language. So is stand for structured query language, which is used to communicate with a database. So in a relational database, we are storing the information in tabular format. So tabular format is nothing but storing the information in a row and column base. So with the help of the structured query language, we can extract our data from a database, or we can update a data into the database, or we can even delete a data, or we can update some kind of the new records into the database also. So basically structured query language is used to perform operations onto the database. So SQL, it was initially known as a structured English query language. It's nothing but like a SQL, but now we call as a SQL, which is the C structured query language. The next one is why SQL is important. So SQL, like a structured query language, is important because it's language that help us to communicate and interact with a database. Apart from that, we have the different server reasons for that, why the SQL is important. The first one is like a database management. A SQL is a standard the language for managing a database. Okay, so we can be create, modify, or delete a database or table through the SQL. The next one is like a data retrieval. So SQL is enable user to retrieve some kind of the information from database quickly within a seconds or within a minute. Even it allow to do the some complex aggregations or filtering or sorting a data based on that data through the SQL query language, as well as the a SQL which is used to analyze a data also. Okay, so apart from that, we can say why SQL is important, because SQL is used to the data integrations also, as a a data security also, because SQL is include a new features for controlling a data access and a user permission. So that's a reason for security purpose, SQL is also important. As well as a application developer, many applications or website or software systems or rely on to the SQL. So SQL database to store and retrieve data from to the database. So that's a reason for application developments also a SQL query is important. Apart from that, for reporting purpose or visualization purpose also, a SQL queries provide the necessary information to generate a reports or visualizations. Okay, for that purpose also we are using a structured query language. So that's a reason a SQL is importance. And in a SQL, we are using a simple English keywords. So that's a reason everyone can be easily understand this structured query language. So what is a data? So data is nothing but all kind of the information. It means a data is like a small piece of information or fact. Okay, here in the screenshot, you can see there is a one table which is employee table. Here you can see all these informations of a particular employees. So this is called as a information. So information is nothing but your data in your mobile also. We have some contact numbers or some images. So this is also called as the data. Even you can consider also in a bank also, a daily basis transactions are generating whenever you do some kind of the transactions. So this is also called as the data we are generating onto the day wise, or the frequently data generating. So this is also come under the data. So basically into the data, basically we have the three types. One is like a structural data, second one is like a semi-structural data, and third one is like a unstructured data. Okay, so structural data is generally tabular data that is represented by a rows and columns. Okay, so database that hold a table in a form of the called as a relational database that come under the structural data. So in structural data, we are storing informations into the numbers, date, or string. Okay, so structure query, for structural data, we are using a structure query language. So next one is like a unstructured data. So unstructured data is nothing but like a unstructured data is information that either does not organize a predefined manner or not have a predefined data modular. So might be like your videos, your audios, or your images, your emails. So that all informations come under the unstructured data. Okay, as compared to the structured and unstructured data, so for structured data we required a less number of storage, but as compared to the unstructured data required a more storage. So next one is like a semi-structured data. So semi-structured data is information that does not consist of the structured data. It means like a relational data, but still has some structural data. Okay, in semi-structured data, uh, the data is stored into the like a JSON format. So here we have some like a different like examples I show here like a. So first one is like a structured data. So here you can see like structured data is stored into the tabular format or rows and columns. Okay, but in semi-structured data you can see like a data is stored into the JSON format. Okay, we have the column name, but along with like we have the informations about the customer IDs as well. Okay, and unstructured data you can have like your images, okay, your emails, your audios, your videos files, or social media data. So that come under the unstructured data. So next one we have like a, what is a Oracle? So Oracle is nothing but like it's a company. It's a multinational company. Okay, multinational technology company who is providing the products. Okay, so similarly like Oracle is a organizations who providing products. Okay, so the Oracle database is a product of Oracle, which is uh, which is giving the product to storing informations in big amount. So that's the reason like we are using the Oracle database. So these are like a basic different, like might be some of the confused like Oracles and Oracle database are like a similarly, but here is the difference. Like Oracle is a multinational company which is providing a product to storing the information. So Oracle database is a product. Okay, then we have the Oracle editions. Like whenever we get any new updates in existing products, so they are launching into the as part of like a versions or additions. So similarly in Oracle's editions also we have the different editions. Okay, so first edition was published onto the 1979, which is like a V2, but currently like a latest version is the 23C. Okay, so like a C is nothing but like a stand for to the cloud. Okay, and G is nothing but stand for to the grid, and I stand for to the internet. So these are the different editions we have into the Oracle. So what is a data type? So data types are used to specific the data type can be stored in a columns of database table. Okay. So basically into the different programming language, we know that we have some data types like a strings, integers. So similarly also into the Oracle also, we have different type of the data types. So basically first is like a your string, nothing but like a your varchar. So when we want to store information into the alphanumeric characters, alphanumeric character, it means like a combination between your numbers and your alphabets. So that time we can be use a varchar to as a data type. Next one is like a integers. So when you want to store information into the whole numbers, it means like a 1, 7, 3, 10, like that. So that times you can be use a data type as a integers. Okay, next one is like a float. When you have a numbers into the decimal format, for example, like a 10.72, 1.79, or 10.10, when this kind of the informations or this kind of the data you have and that data you want to store into the particular columns, so that time you can be use a data type as a float. Then we have the date integers. So for example, if you want to store information into the date format, okay, it means like your date or year or day or hours. So that time we are using a date data types. as well as we have the different like data types also. For example, we have the booleans data type, which is represent logical values. It means like your value should be only the true and false only. Okay, then we have like a timestamps. So when you want to store information more precise, okay, with the help of your date, month, year, timing, seconds. So that time we are using a uh, the timestamps data types. Along with like we have the different types also, like a C lob and B lob. So C lob is nothing but your character log object, which is used to store a large characters. It means like a large text or large documents. That time we are using a C lob. Then we have the B lob is nothing but like a binary large object, which is used to store a binary data such as like your images or multimedia files. So what we can do with the SQL? So through the SQL, you can do anything like, for example, you can retrieve data from a database. For example, there is a one table which is having employee details. So if you want to see like how many employees are present in my table, so to see a data, so you can just run a SQL queries like a select query from the database, so you can see the data. So basically, SQL is used to see a such kind of the data into your database, as well as for example, you can even add a new data into the database also. For example, some of the new employees added in your organization, so you want to add her or his information in a database. So that time through the SQL you can add a new data into the existing data also. Even you can update a data also. For example, one of the employees are moving to the one location to the another location, or might be his mobile number is changed from to the XYZ to the ABC. Through the update query or through the update statements, you can even like update a data into the database also. Even like you can delete a data also. For example, some of the employees are moved to the different organization, and which is not a active employee in my current organization. So so through the SQL, through the delete command, you can remove unwanted data from a database also. So through the SQL also you can manage your database also, like you can modify organization data also. So next one, like who can use a SQL? Okay, nowadays like everyone can be use a SQL, but like previously like some few years back, like only the IT professional can be use a SQL, because the data is not generating through the like online or some of the traditional methods they are using. So that's the reason like data was not generated properly. But nowadays like data is like properly generated through the internet, like everyone like generating a data. So here like the database management or administrations or HR persons or accountants, business analyst or marketing people, your front end developer, back end developers, or even like a accounting person, or even like a small business person also can be use a SQL, who are storing the information into the database. That all people can be use a SQL, and through the SQL they can extract a data, they can see the data, and they can predict they do the some predictions based on data, how can be make the business strategies based on the data. So in simple word, like in a nowadays everyone can use a SQL, and everyone can learn a SQL. The last topic is like what are the SQL commands we have. Like basically here like we have the four types. Okay, first one is like a DML. So DML is stand for to the data manipulation language. Okay, so in DML we have the different command. So first one is like a select command. So select command is used to extract a data from database, or to just view your some kind of the information from a database. That time we are using a select command. So select command is nothing but like a to see a data from a database. So next one is like a insert. So insert is used when I want to insert some new data in my database. So that time I will use a insert command. For example, few of the employee added in my organizations, and I want to add their information in my database. That time I can be use a insert command to insert a new data in my database. Similarly, update. Update also is come under the DML. So update also like we can use to update some of the existing informations in my database. For example, my mobile numbers I want to update, my address want to update. That time I can be use a update statements. So next one is a delete statement. Okay, delete command. So delete command is used to to remove unwanted data from my database. So that time we can be use a delete command to remove some records or to information from a table. So that time I can be use a delete. So these are the four commands come under the DML. So next one is like a DDL. DDL is stand for to the data definition language. In that we have the different command. So first one is like a create command. So create command is used to create a database, to create a new tables, to create a view or index or different users. So that time we are using a create command or create statements. Okay, so next one is like a alter command is used to modify some of kind of the existing metadata tables or some information. For example, if I want to change my table name from xyz to the abc, that time I can be use a alter command. Or for example, in my table I have my column name as a f name, but instead of f name I want to keep as a my first name. So that time I can be use a alter commands. Even uh, if I want to remove some columns from the table, so that time also I can be use a alter statements. Next one is like a drop statement. So drop statements or drop command we use to delete a table from a database or uh, the users. That time you can be use a drop statements. Okay, next one is like a truncate statements or truncate command. So truncate command is used to delete data from your database. Here we cannot use any specific where conditions. In a truncate we can be delete the whole set of records. It will be just keep as a structure of that tables. Apart from that everything will be deleted. Okay, so here a one point is DDL is a auto committed. Okay, when you execute any delete any command from the DDL, that time you not required any commit commands. Okay, next one like a DCL. DCL is nothing but like a data control language. In that we have the two commands, grant and revoke. So grant is like a when you want to give the some kind of the privileges to the some specific users or some specific persons. So that time you can be use a grant. For example, XYZ is an employee. I want to give the only the select permission for particular table. So that time I can be use a grant statement to give the some informations to give the some permission to the particular users. Okay, so revoke is a just opposite of your grant. So when you giving the permission to the persons, so that time you can be use a grant, but I want to remove that permission from particular users. So that time I can be use a revoke command to remove the privileges from particular users. So next one is like a TCL. TCL is nothing but a transaction control language. So in transaction control language, we have like a different types like a rollbacks and commit. Okay, so commit is used when we use a commit when I'm storing the some kind of the informations, when I'm inserting a new data in my tables or I'm removing some data from my table. So that times if I want to save my changes, that time I can be use a commit. So commit is nothing but used to the to save my latest changes into my uh, database. That time we are using a commit. And rollback is nothing but if I'm accidentally made some delete statements or insert statements, I want to go a step by one back steps. Okay, so that time I can be user rollback commands. Okay, so these are the SQL commands.